What is going on, guys? Jordan Timberblade here, back with some more Elder Scrolls Legends news, and it's the news we've been waiting for quite a while. The next expansion has been announced, Return to Clockwork City. I believe it's running in conjunction with an Elder Scrolls Online event. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. But it will be a story-based expansion, and as you can see here, we'll be getting that expansion on November 30th, so less than a month now until we get it, or just about exactly a month. And yes, it'll be running alongside Elder Scrolls Online's Clockwork DLC, and it's based on Elder Scrolls 3's Expansion Tribunal. I haven't played Elder Scrolls 3, so I don't have much knowledge of that. But as part of this expansion, we will be receiving 55 new cards, over 55 new cards, and 35 exciting story missions. Construct steam-powered wonders, search for lost treasure, channel your inner mad scientist. I'm excited for more story. I thought Fall of the Dark Brotherhood was incredibly fun, interesting, a lot of unique missions. Not even talking about the cards, just the gameplay-wise, it was really fantastic, a fun play. So I'm excited to see both if they can capture that brilliance of both the main story, and then I think Fall of the Dark Brotherhood took the main story to the next level in terms of unique battles, making you need to create special decks for certain encounters. And then the master version of that story took that to an even higher level of making special decks and unique mechanics to those fights. I'm excited to see if they can recapture that same spark, and as well as possibly even build upon that and take it to that next level. So I'm super excited to see that. And then the new cards and the new mechanics and all the new synergies and stuff I'm super excited to see as well. So let's dive down into the rest of this page here. The Clockwork City is a grand workshop of the late god Sothasil, who is obsessed with crafting his own life forms, reconstructing and building on the work of the Dwemer. So these fabricants are based on Dwemer, and I believe, yes, we're getting 5 fabricants, 1 for each attribute, and they have neutral synergy, but in a color, which is super cool. So we're going to take a look at these things right here. We have Hulking Fabricant, who is a 5/5 for 5. So right off the bat, he's, even if you don't trigger the effect, a 5/5 for 5 is good. It's not great, but it's good. But when you factor in the summon effect, if you have a neutral card in play, it gets +3/+3. So this potentially could be an 8/8 for 5 just for having a neutral on the board. So I think with this expansion and some of these neutral synergies, A, obviously it makes Dwemer way more viable, and B, I think you may start seeing some neutral thrown as a third color in some decks. So like if you look at these 2 cards here, maybe you have Spell Sword with a little bit of neutral focus. Maybe even neutral creeping in the majority of certain decks. Then here we have Kagudi Fabricant. If you have a neutral card in play, summon a copy of this card in the other lane. So instead of Golden Saint, which is a 6-cost 4/4 with guard that you get 1 in each lane, this would be a 4-cost 3/3 where you'd be getting 6/6 worth of body split amongst 2 bodies in each lane, which is pretty solid. Honestly, it plays into tokens as well. But I think it's just a good card overall. And for 4 Magicka, it's pretty great value. So I'm excited to see the rest of the Fabricants and see how those things work out. They'll reward you for playing neutral cards like the Dwemer. They offer serious power, but also new deck building opportunities. That's what I was talking about. I'm excited to see the kind of synergies that take place with these. Then the next mechanic that they're working on, inside of the Clockwork City, it's a lost city, suffering the ravages of time and rust, which means wherever there's ruins, there's treasure and people looking to find it, which introduces the newest mechanic to Elder Scrolls Legends, which is Treasure Hunt, which is basically, to compare it to something like Hearthstone's quests, there's a quest on the card, and whenever you meet the requirement on the card, they get a reward. So for example, we'll take a look at this Relic Hunter, 2-cost 3/2. So again, right off the bat, even if you don't hit anything on the item, or even if you don't hit anything on the quest, 2-cost 3/2 is pretty decent. It's not great, but it's pretty decent. It'd be a solid arena card. But then when you look at the Treasure Hunt, and I'm super excited about these things. They seem pretty cool. Treasure Hunt means whenever you draw a card into your hand, that's what you see right here, the Treasure Hunt ability will watch each card you draw, and if it's a treasure they're seeking, they'll reward you for their effort. So for this Treasure Hunt, whenever you draw an item, it gives the item +1/+1 right off the bat. So it's like the what's that thing called? The Master Swordsmith or whatever it is. The 3 cost 2/3 or whatever in blue that gives +1/+1 to all your items. This guy does it on a 1 item level. So those two matched together in an items battle mage deck could be pretty nuts. So it buffs the first weapon you draw. It's pretty awesome. And then we look at this next card, which is Ratway Prospector, 1 cost 1/2 Wood Elf. This treasure hunt actually is looking for 3 different things to be met. So obviously it's a little bit harder, or a lot harder than the Relic Hunter. But for a 1 cost 1/2, if you draw a support, an item, and an action while Ratway Prospector is on the field, it gets +5/+5. Whenever Ratway Prospector attacks, it gains cover. So that part's pretty key, I think, to making this effect go off. Because having this thing survive long enough to draw one of each of these is incredibly hard, and I think it's going to be incredibly hard regardless. But the fact that you can attack and regain cover can buy you more time to try and get each of these things going. And then your reward for drawing a support item in action is +5/+5. So potentially, just by drawing cards, your 1 cost 1/2 could turn into a 1 cost 6/7. That still gains cover whenever it attacks. It retains this ability after it gets buffed. So this card is, it's kind of like it's an okay 1-drop in general. It's not great. You drop your 1-drop, and if it attacks and kind of sticks around a little bit, and you don't have to necessarily do anything besides maybe keep attacking to keep gaining cover, as you're drawing cards naturally throughout the game, eventually this card can turn into a powerhouse. So I don't really see many decks playing this, but it's the kind of card where it has huge upside and not so much downfall, because a 1-cost card, obviously there's really no risk to playing it besides potentially drawing it late game when you need something bigger. And I'm honestly, a lot of cards hold that same drawback, so I think this is a pretty interesting card that I'm excited to see some people get their hands on it. And also, like the card says, something like Treasure Hunt looking for an item, cards like Plunder or Crown Quartermaster, since adding those cards to your hand does count as drawing those cards in Elder Scrolls Legends, that would proc the Treasure Hunt right away, which is pretty cool. Now, this is something I think that I'm most excited for, most excited to give a try. We have these things called factotums. And there is a new mechanic with those things called Assemble. When you play an Assemble creature, you'll choose one of 2 bonuses, almost like a Discover, but only with 2. And you'll give that bonus to both that creature and every other factotum in your hand and deck. So basically, depending on how many factotums there are, as you're playing all these things, you're buffing your entire deck's worth of factotums together. So this guy right here is a 3-cost neutral card, so I already want to play him with some of those cards up top. He's a 1/2, which seems kind of horrible at first sight. Then you look at his Assemble, and he either gets +2/+0, which makes him a 3-cost 3/2, which still isn't great, or he gets lethal, so he'd be a 3-cost 1/2 with lethal, which still isn't great. But then you factor in the fact that playing this 1 Assembled Sanitizer, you give him +2/+0, he becomes a 3-cost 3/2, but every single other factotum in your hand and deck also gets +2. So the next time you play an Assembled Sanitizer, it's already a 3-cost 3/2, and it can potentially turn into a 3-cost 5/2, or a 3-cost 3/2 with lethal. And as you start stacking these things together and playing more and more of them, the rest of them just get more and more nuts. So it's kind of the case where the first factotum you play probably is going to be less than what you would normally get for that Magicka cost. But then every single factotum after that, it's going to be, first one you play, you're going to get less than the value of normal Magicka cost. Next one you play is probably going to be about equal Magicka cost. And then after you play the 2, it's like a shout. Every single one after that is going to be better than that Magicka cost. So I could see these kind of decks just going bonkers when you get a couple of these factotums out. And potentially ways to tutor them out of your deck. Find a way to draw them. I'm super excited for that. We got some more information about the content. It's going to be very similar to the Fall of the Dark Brotherhood. 3 acts that can be purchased with gold or in-app. I'm assuming the gold cost will remain the same. And there's a bundle price of $20 that will get you all 3 acts at once and a bonus alternate card art. And then we have a preview of a legendary right here, Laneth, a 9-cost 6/6 Dark Elf. When you summon her, you get to draw any card you want from your deck. This card is absolutely insane. So picture playing a Control Mage opponent that's gotten unlucky and hasn't drawn Marak or Odahviing or the 3 Manticoras. It drops Laneth. It gets any of those cards that it wants. So basically, you play this card late game, and then your next card literally can be whatever answer you need. So maybe you don't have the answer in hand and you only have 2 turns left to live, but there's this one card that can save you and bail you out. You play Lyneth, you can make sure you pull that card. That is insane. It's even better than the Greybeard's Mentor, because something like Greybeard's Mentor, if you're playing 2 shouts in your deck, there's no guarantee you're going to get the shout that you need. Obviously, if you only play 1 shout, you're only going to get that. Similar like Goblin Skulk, drawing a curse. Most decks only play the curse, but if you're playing other 0-cost cards, there's no way to guarantee you get the 0 cost you need. Lyneth, any copy of any card that you need. Absolutely nuts. And then we also get this pretty cool looking alternate art Swims at Night. And I think it's extra cool because now there is a concrete reward for playing through the master mode. And you'll get this alternate art Swims at Night. So if you didn't get lucky and pull Swims at Night from the Skyrim packs, or even if you're like me and you just like Swims at Night as a card and you want this alternate art, all you have to do is play through master mode and you can earn this. Which, basically, honestly, I didn't play through most of Fall of the Dark Brotherhood's master mode. This card right here is going to make me play through master mode. So there's a pre-order that you can do, and you'll get the exclusive title Relic Hunter, and you'll also get the other alternate card art. So I don't think the alternate card art that you receive for pre-ordering is going to be Swims at Night. So it is it's not the only alternate card art we've got in store. So there's an alternate art that you will receive for the pre-order as well. So 2 different alternate arts in this expansion, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's all I've got for the expansion. Obviously, over the next coming days, I'm sure there'll be multiple card reveals. There's actually one happening tonight on Bicky's channel, which is TES Central. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. That's going up at midnight tonight on October 31st. So if you haven't seen his review already, or if you're watching this in the future, just keep an eye on that, and you'll be able to see more reviews throughout the week. But that's going to be it for now, guys. As always, thank you all very much for watching. I'm Dragon Blade, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.